Martinez. Lion Martinez, 10.74.
Hey, Automathletes, Larry Sorensen here, and today I'm going to connect with Lion Martinez and find out what makes him an Automathlete that's not done yet. Before we do, please remember, if you enjoy our content, like, subscribe, and ding that bell for notifications. All right, let's get this thing started. Thanks, Lion, for joining us today. Appreciate you taking the time out. Why don't you start us off with a brief introduction of yourself?
I am Lion Martinez. I am from Stockholm, Sweden based, and in my regular professional life, I'm into tech investing, building businesses, and some IP licensing. And now I'm into masters athletics and do track sprinting, and have done a few world records, and I got a few medals off the worlds and the European championships.
Tell us about your athletic history going back as far as you'd like.
As a kid, I did multiple sports, soccer, ice hockey, judo, some martial arts, ping pong, and it was just fast, and I liked running. So my family put me into athletics when I was 11 years old. It was 100 years ago. I just loved it from the moment we started. You're jumping and sprinting and do all these things. And good feedback loop, I think, because I was talented too, and it stuck with that for about 15 years. The last couple of ones were more on a senior elite level, as in local, regional, or country-wise, and was it the European Championships once? So stuck to it, stuck with it until I was bored with it, and had other things in life that kind of drew me away from it, maybe at 23, 24. So I took a break for 10 years and then came back.
Well, what motivated you to come back to track and field?
Two things. I was just getting away from health in general. I had a lot of stress in working, and for 24/7, for 10 years, and my health is faltering. Just didn't take care of myself. Poor diet, all these things, right? And then a family member passed away. My grandfather passed away, and it just yanked me out of that comfort and said, like, if I'm gonna go the same way, and that I don't want that to happen. So I started trying to change my life diet wise, and go to the gym to get everything off, get more healthy. And after a while, you get kind of bored with it. Like 8 months in a gym, you get kind of bored with it, same stuff, bicep, tricep pulls, chins and all this stuff. So I was looking into the circuit, and it was a few Swedes. Mattias Sunneborn, who's an Olympic long jumper, he was into masters athletics, and I thought, well, that I was fast once. Let me see what the guys at the top level are doing. And I saw a guy that in man 35, he did 10:66, and I said, like, wow, that's amazing. But I think I can do that if I get some training in. And then I just got into it, and I've been at it since then. So this is about 9 years ago now.
So have you had any kind of setbacks along the way, whether it was earlier in life or in your master's track and field career so far?
Always. It's very rare to have like a bunch of seasons that go completely as you wanted to. There's always a curveball. It's just crazy. You think you're good, and then something else happens. You're gonna have the back thing, Achilles, calf stuff, hamstring stuff, back stuff. This the other day, I think I pulled my tricep putting a shirt on. Like, that's stupid things like that. So it's always something. But my continuous back problems is the worst one. I had one of my disc moved back one time as a young sprinter, and it's kind of ruptured some of the nerve ends and stuff back there. So it's always bad, but it's when I'm training, it's better. And when I'm good, it's no problem. You can train through it. But sometimes it's so bad. It's just sometimes you pull stuff. Also, you do jumping, or you do a power clean or something, and something goes when you're not paying attention enough. And but mostly when it comes to like acute muscle damage injuries, I've been quite spared from that, which is great. So you can always work. You can always do something.
Take a minute here and fill us in on your personal best achievements, any awards, podiums, those types of things that you have achieved here in Masters Track and Field.
World gold medals I have in the 60, the 100, the 200 indoors, the 60 indoors, the 100 outdoors, the 200 indoors. I have the Europeans as well, same distances. I still need a 200 outdoor, 200 medal gold. I have a few silvers and a few bronze medals there as well. And in a row, which breaking and not holding all of them, I broke the 60-meter indoor world record for 45 last year. It was 6:88. Tied the summer in a zero wind. I did 10:72 at 40 5 years old. And the 200 indoor world record is 22:22 as well. I thought I was going to break it this year, but I had an opportunity, but I tensed up a little bit. So that's pretty good. Also, Masters Athlete of the Year sprinting in Europe. That's quite nice. And also a few relay medals in the 4x100 in different age categories during these championships. So.
Okay, so what's on the horizon for you right now?
Yeah, so World Championships in Gothenburg. It's my home country, it's Sweden, in August, and so looking to do the 100 and 200 there. And right now, prepping for the outdoor season. A little late. I feel I'm a little late. We came from the indoor European Championships in Poland just end of March, so I don't feel like I've really caught up yet. But that's every year. It's like the same thing every year. It's just really late, and you have to catch up a few things. So I'm at camp right now. Actually, I'm here in one of the Spanish islands at the equator at Gran Canaries, and here with a couple of guys, and we're trying to catch up as good as possible to go back into competition maybe early June if I feel ready, and then we just continue competing and take a little training break off before we go into August, maybe there in July to build up again for those. So I'm looking forward to that.
How do you do it? Give us an idea of your training regimen, what you do on the track, off the track, cross training, in season, off season. How can I get to be as fast as you are?
There's a few things that everybody's doing when you're doing track. You'll do the speed work, you'll do block work, you'll do flies, 60-meter sprints, 80-meter sprints, 120s for speed endurance and up. And so I do those things basically. So in the beginning of the week, we do a lot of speed work, we do a lot of block work, technique. We try to get as fast as possible in a shorter distance. So I do a traditional short to long, which means I try to get the speed kind of first. Not always maximum, but I try to get that first. So the timing of the movement is here, and so we don't break down. You do a lot of long stuff. You start breaking down, and your mechanics are not good for running fast. Later in the week, we'll get to the sprint endurance stuff. In the beginning of the season, that's still short stuff, 60s, 80s, and we rep those with short rest. Then we build those out with meters every week. And outside of that, we also have 2 to 3 strength sessions in the gym where we work leg power, plyometrics, that kind of stuff. Some traditional Olympic lifting. And in between those, we'll have core and upper body work, the traditional stuff you do in the gym for abs, for shoulders, arms, and so forth. And I try to add a few extra sessions of that in throughout the week when I have the time. And I do that for say 3 weeks, and then I have a deload week, so I maybe just train two times during that week, and that's sprinting, and that continues, and then we change up some things as we get closer to race season. And how you manage that? Well, I think everybody's going to say the same. We're a little crazy. Simple as that. Get down again, do it again. Look crazy.
Give us your approach to diet and nutrition and also rest.
Yeah, I'm a quite traditional guy. I was speaking about this some other time, but it's oatmeal and eggs is never a bad thing. It's been around forever. We know it's good stuff. My problem is I like sweet bread, pancakes, and that kind of stuff, toast and stuff for breakfast, which is a bad thing, but I tend to do it anyway if I can keep the rest of it. And then I utilize carb cycling, and I'm sure, Larry, you know what that's about. So I just manage my carbs depending on what I do the day after. So I pull back on it if I have a strength session. I don't need as much, right? Or core upper body work. But the day before sprinting, I need glucose. So up the carbs, you feel good, you go do your training, and then you can pull back again. And always try to keep protein high and try to make it so it's good protein. Like you go and buy good stuff, chicken, you got the eggs, of course, good beef, and anything related to that, even if it's from milk. I like that too because I'm not lactose intolerant. I can handle it well, but you have to manage, of course. So you have your protein shakes, which I like to have in milk because it tastes better. And I just manage my weight through the season and making sure I don't bloat up too much, which I do easy. So I try to keep it so I don't go up too much. And then I have in training weight, my competition weight, and then I have my championship weight, which are gonna be 3 different weights and going down then. So
And what
that's
are
about it, really. So I try not to go above 80 during off season. It's been more in many times, right? When I'm sloppy about it. So I give myself 2 weeks of eating between season, which is too much. Like bloat up to like 83. So I try to keep it at 80, and I like to be at under 78 when I compete. And I'd like to be about 76 and a half for world champs and such.
Give us an idea of how you fit everything in and also what motivates you to keep going and do this.
There's multiple factors here. I think a good strategy for me is this: as soon as I can, I go train in the morning. You'll always have, even though you might be a little tired from waking up, there has to be a little space. Yeah, it needs to be an hour and a half, whatever. But once the clock is past 4 in the afternoon, I'm having a hard time with the energy, the mental energy to do it. It's not the physical; it's more the mental, because you drag this many hours of the day. You've been working at your job, whatever you do, you handle all the stuff you have to do in life. It's not much left at the end of the day. Sometimes I do, it's fine. But I like to do it in the morning before noon because I have a lot of energy then, and it's always good to get that done, which makes my head work better for my work later on. And I work well with my job stuff, my business stuff later in the evening, and I get a lot of desk time when I can take care of stuff. So I think that's number one. But then the other aspect is hard to quantify. It's a combination of, I mentioned, the passing of my grandfather. It's like a fear of losing all this good health, especially looking at your friends and your acquaintances in the same age and what they look like and how they live their lives. And I think it's just something that gives you a lot of health qualities and youthful spirit and energy. So that's a component. But then there's the third part of, I think most athletes will just have this inert drive to go and train, and it's again a good feedback loop because you feel good when you do it, and you don't want to let yourself go. So it's just a natural drive to go do it, same as it is with needing to eat, needing to sleep, needing to do this, needing to do that. It's just part of genetics and your environment, I think, through many years, and we just need to do it to feel good.
Would you have done anything differently in your athletic history if you could turn back time?
Yeah, but I mean, things are what they are. But I wish I wouldn't have completely got out of it for 10 years because I lost a lot. I mean, if I could have just started a little earlier with masters, say after 5 years, I would have so much more. But I think a lot of masters would say the same. If I just had a little bit, because you get older, right? So it's going to be very difficult to do those extreme performances, and you get older, and naturally you're going to get slower. Somewhere that's going to happen. But at the same time, then now I have the energy to do it, as in the mental, and the motivation is still there, which it might not have been just with 5 years. I don't know. It's hard to know exactly, but I wish. And in my old career, I wish I was a bit more mature about it. I guess, you're young, you're 19, 20, 21, you're not really grown up yet, even though you're an adult. And then not easy to coach all the time, and you take your talents for granted, so to speak. I don't anymore, though. Now I'm very grateful for it.
If you had a chance to bottle what I call your secret sauce to health and fitness and sell it, what would be in that recipe?
For that broad category, I said sprinting is the secret sauce. It's not only me saying it. We know that this is the case. We know all the good stuff that happens in the cells because it's a super unique kind of thing where you're actually doing very close to maximum. There's no other sport where you actually pass 90%. I mean, even a 90% is quite rare in anything else, right? Say a squat 90% is quite high. You play a football game. It's very, you might burst here and there, but it's not 98% maximum for 10 or 12 seconds, whatever it is. So it's very special. We know all the good stuff's happening. All the satellite cells in your body starts moving. All the neurons are sparking. It's amazing. But we have to be careful with it. But I think that's the secret sauce.
So tell us a little bit about your coaching and who you coach and what you enjoy about doing that.
Yeah, so I'm mostly coach other masters. I have a few seniors as well, and a group of great people, which gets me into a setting where we can share the same life. Many people have the same kind of life. When we can do this, a privilege that we can do this, and everybody's very grateful. So this is our outlet for everything else in life. It's stress free, and we can enjoy each other's company. And I love it. I love seeing other people utilize my programs and succeed and see them be happy about it. It's the most rewarding thing for me. And also the seniors, of course, seeing them progress, because I really want to make sure I help them, and I believe in my programming, and if they do too, when they execute it, they get faster. So that's really amazing.
So do you do online coaching?
So I don't do any organized online training for a certain specific reason. I've been selling my programs because I've been asked about it. Some people just want to have some kind of structure, and it's rare out there, especially for masters, to have that. Not everybody has a coach. A lot of people train by themselves. There's a few people I help a little bit because they tend to join up in training camp, so I can kind of have a conversation with them. It's very difficult when you coach someone and you are responsible for their results. You really need to be on location to really help them out. There's a guy in Sweden as well I'm helping on remotely, but he's also in camps, and we try to come to where I live as often as possible. But it's very difficult, because you want to be on location and see how they react to the training, what they're feeling during the day, so they don't go and injure themselves or do the wrong things. And you got to show some exercises and learn the athlete. So I try to stay away from that. There are other coaches that are probably better than me in doing that. I like being on location.
Well, Lion, thanks so much for joining us today and letting us know what makes you an Autumn athlete that's not done yet. We really appreciate the time. I'd like to wrap things up by giving you a few minutes to address our audience and just give us some final thoughts.
Yeah, first of all, I think it's great highlighting older athletes. We are around, and I think we are a motivator for other people around us. We are the only people that draw other people in. And lifelong health is all what Masters Athletics is about. Yes, we compete, but we are all doing it because we love it, and we love competing against other people and having them there. So I think this platform is great, and you're doing some great work. And I wish the best for everyone doing this. You guys are rare. We're rare on this planet. And I appreciate you, and thank you so much for this.
Well, there you go, Autumn athletes. Lion Martinez, he is definitely an Autumn athlete that's not done yet. Remember, keep moving, set your own goals, and train hard to achieve them. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next time.